Thank you for this opportunity, Anne. I truly admire your strength. You are a warrior of the light. To answer your first question, it's important to focus on the following timeline. Aluminum in the form of tiny particles was first used in vaccines by the British immunologist Alexander Glennie in 1926. Its regular use in human vaccines began in 1930s. Then, in 1943, autism was first described by Leo Kanner, a child psychiatrist at the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine. He called it autistic disorders. In 1986, vaccine producers effectively pressured Congress to pass the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act. They claimed that increasing liability lawsuits and insurance issues threatened vaccine production. The act was signed into law by the President of the U.S. on November 14, 1986. Therefore, autism was first identified 15 years after vaccines containing aluminum particles began to be routinely used in humans. As you know, a causal factor precedes its corresponding effect. From 1986, the number of childhood vaccine shots progressively increased from about 7 vaccine doses up to 54 doses by the age 18 in 2024. So, the number of vaccine doses went up from 7 to 54 during that period. Approximately 70% of vaccines in use today contain aluminum particles. At the same time, the rate of autism, or ASD if you will, increased from 1 in 10,000 children to 1 in 36 in 2018. And some American states already report 1 case of ASD in 22 children. Not only ASD rate increased in parallel with vaccine schedule, but ASD severity also increased. Aluminum is used in vaccines because it causes inflammation at the injection site. However, calcium phosphate, also in the form of tiny particles, has an even better effect on antibody production, and it's not toxic. It was successfully used by Pasteur Institute in France for 20 years, until the late 1980s, when the Pasteur Institute and the Mérieux Institute merged, and aluminum replaced calcium phosphate in the late 1980s. Unlike aluminum, calcium phosphate is a natural substance in the human body, and it's non-toxic. It does not lead to chronic diseases. Calcium phosphate remains approved for human vaccination by the WHO, and no one would profit from chronic diseases if calcium phosphate replaced aluminum.